Past days, I've made videos about scams in a spiritual context. I feel the need to make more of such videos. And one subscriber, who's been following me for a while, he longed to have more videos about self-defense and why it's a scam. So I'm going to talk about that in this video. Self-defense. Think about how it has been sold to you. Yes, sold. Self-defense is most of the time sold to you like this. An incident happened in your neighborhood. Someone was stabbed or someone was robbed. So you're shocked. And then, in that state of shock, your brain reflects back on you, because when you're in a state of shock, the brain wants security for the body. Or state for the body, I mean. So in that state, you think, oh dear, look at me. I have a mortal, weak body that doesn't amount to much physically. So I need to have something to compensate the weakness and mortality of this body. That's the trick by crime. Most crime out there are rituals. I already explained that. So the pagan rulers, who are Apollonists, they have their handlers that hire actors and they commit crime. They are actors, but the crimes they commit are real often. So they are real victims. There are real people that are truly robbed. Okay? There are people really kidnapped. There are people beaten up randomly. Well, it's randomly for the one being assaulted, but for those assaulted, it's a ritual. Okay? So those things happen. And then you have the agents in the media who now spread this ritual as a sudden event. And they do it in a codified manner for your brain to develop patterns. So they may throw up the 666 sign, they may show the pyramid in the background during the news broadcast, or they may use witch language also when the reporter is speaking about it. They do all of that. I'm not saying the reporter is an agent, but the reporter has to do what his employer or her employer told him or her to do. Okay? So then they broadcast this. And this causes a state of fear in you. Why? Because you're in an anxious state. And when you're in an anxious state, you develop fearful ways of thinking. When your brain senses, when your brain knows a car speeding out of control, you have this fight or flight mechanism that is activated in your body. That's not fear. That's just a rush of adrenaline, just in case you need to run or in case you need to take physical action. That's not fear. It may feel frightening, but it's just an adrenaline rush. I'm not talking about that. That's not fear. Fear is any mentality or any mindset that denies Christ. And Christ is your defender. He's your Lord. As a Lord, He's your defender. So any thinking that denies Him as your Lord also denies Him as your defender. So when you're in a state of anxiety, you tend to develop fearful thinking patterns. And once you've developed these fearful thinking patterns, now other agents are coming with a solution. That solution is just a compensation for the anxiety you're in. And they tell you, you know what? You are a mortal being. Your physical body doesn't amount to much. Which is a lie, by the way. Because as a human being, you are a spirit being with an earth suit for you to operate in the earth. Your earth suit is relatively weak compared to that of other creatures, but that is because you are a spirit being. So your body does amount to much if you operate as a spirit being. I'll talk more about that in other videos. But for most people, they're not operating as Christ wants them to operate, so they are codependent on their earth suit. That's why they're so vulnerable to most of the things around them. So to such people, when they're in a state of anxiety, the seller now comes and says, you know what? Your body doesn't amount to much. You're a mortal being. You're weak. You need to develop. You need to learn how to hit someone. You need to learn how to block an attack. You need to learn this, or you need to learn how to handle a gun. You need to learn how to handle a knife. And those are the official sellers. And you can sign up for some program. Of course, you have to pay. You invest. And because you invest, you feel as if you're developing. And then you have informal sellers who lead gangs, and they tell you join our gang, then you have protection. And you also have a group that takes care of you. And others join a cult. Some cult that practices witchcraft, which includes many of those Babylon churches. In any case, the sellers now sell you a package that promises you safety. And here's where the scam comes in. The package works. And because it works, it gives you some relief from violence, some relief from danger. But it doesn't actually solve the danger because it doesn't deal with it from the roots. So the package works against you in the long run. But because in the short run you have some compensation, you think it's the right way. The package is designed to trap you. The package is designed to drain you financially, emotionally, physically, mentally, socially also. And here's the thing about those self-defense packages. When it really comes down to it, in real life, when danger manifests, you use the package, but either you die because things don't go as planned during the sessions when you were trained, or you win, you either kill the attacker, or the attacker ends up in the hospital, but you are locked up in jail. Even though you didn't intend to harm anyone, you just wanted to defend yourself, the law will blame you. The judge, who wears black and white Freemasonry, will blame you, even though you're not at fault because you didn't look for a fight. Or if that doesn't happen, you now have to process that you harmed another human being or that another human being died and you can't give back their life. So, did the package work for you? No. The package worked against you. It offered you some relief. Therefore, the package is a scam. Because it promises one thing but delivers the complete opposite. So what it promised was fake. Now think about the following here. That guy in the alley who's looking weird, who's about to attack someone, did he begin as this creep in an alley? No, he began as a little baby after he came out of his mom. How did he end up as that creep in an alley? Or ally, oh okay. How did he end up like that? He ended up like that due to the conditioning of society and due to series of events that happened to him. Now, am I excusing his creepy behavior? No, absolutely not. But just because he's now a creep on the street corner doesn't mean he began that way. It may not even mean that he wants to be that way. Maybe he's demon possessed and he doesn't know it. Maybe evil spirits are using him to cause violence. Or maybe he's just someone that needs help, but he's triggered. And because he's triggered, people will take action immediately because he may harm himself or someone else. It can be someone who needs serious help. You don't know that. In a state of anxiety, you only see something that's a potential threat to you, and now, in a primitive way, you act against it. So instead of examining the situation in a calm manner, you now project this fright you're feeling onto the individual you consider the target. And by doing this, you're operating in negativity. Just like the other so-called creepy guys in negativity. So what happens now is that instead of so-called defending yourself, you're making yourself more vulnerable and susceptible to violence. So now you may walk by and the guy looks weird at you. And because you're in a state of anxiety, instead of remaining calm and walk past the individual, you now look a bit frightened towards the individual. And your disgust that you emit to that individual triggers him, and now he thinks he's in danger. So now demons use the package you received including the conditioning of your parents, to trigger you, let me say, to bring you into danger, and without you being aware of it, you've now triggered someone into attacking you. Okay, because that guy may just needed professional mental help. So if you would have remained calm, you wouldn't have admitted this disgust towards him, and if you would have just passed by in peace, the guy may have felt at peace and nothing would have happened. Another thing, let's say you have a group of men in a neighborhood, young men, who are frustrated. They form like a little clique, and they tend to look for a fight with people. Now, that means they're mentally disordered, because no human being in the right mind would put themselves in danger or look for danger. So those men, even though they were mismanaged by their parents, they are responsible for seeking help. Now, normally, if you don't know anything of those self-defense packages, you just walk by. You think, I'm going to avoid, I'm going to walk away. But now that you are trained into false confidence by those packages, it depends which package you took of those self-defense programs. Now you have confidence in dealing with those guys, but it's false confidence. You know why? Because now that you're not walking away from danger, you're now facing danger, but not with the right equipment. So now you're more likely to end up in a fight where you would probably get hurt, or you would hurt someone else, and things would escalate. But if you walk by faith, you agree with Christ, you do what Christ told you to do, you send out His peace ahead of you, what happens? When you are in that mall and a group of guys are there, they see you, they feel frightened, they back off from you. They should threaten them, did you have a gun or a knife? Did you know? You send out peace ahead of you. And the peace of Christ is so intense that anyone in negativity feels frightened by it and they run away. That's the true defense. You didn't need any package for this. You didn't need to carry a gun with you. You didn't need to learn how to knock someone out. You didn't need to meditate and empty your mind and all those occult things. But the true defense, they will never tell you about in those self-defense packages. Because they're just packages. They'll never tell you about them. Why not? Because once you realize that those packages are scams, you would not pay anymore to be trained by them. You will not use them anymore as a badge of honor. But if you knew about the true defense, you would see through more things. And the pagan rulers of this world don't want you to see through things. They want you scammed, trapped, so you will always need the system to survive. So, your true defense is only found in Christ, when you walk in His power. But in the world, they tell you, no, you can't trust the Most High. He's too far away, or He doesn't exist. So, you need to take matters in your own hands. But you need to do it in a ritual way to honor and respect the law. Because the law is guarded by those men and women wearing black and white, which is Freemasonry, which is a ritual. So the world conditions you into a ritual, thinking that this ritual is going to keep you safe. And it's a hoax. That ritual will not keep you safe. Honoring the law of the land will not keep you safe. Because the law is biased towards certain people. And if you're not part of those towards whom it's biased to, then you're in a disadvantage. That's how a lot of folks practice, quote-unquote, self-defense, and they end up in jail. Even when it's proven that they were not the ones causing the danger. Why? Because the law says, and people in the world that will blindly follow whatever is written in codified black letters. So it's how people lose years of their lives. I'm telling you, your only defense is by operating Christ's power. Agree with Christ, be at peace.